It will actually show for a second the last footage that was happening while it's refreshing. So at the top is my front porch. The bottom is the back porch. They are not as good as the computer, I will say that. If you turn your screen brightness up, it helps a little bit, but it is not as good quality for some reason as it is coming off the computer. So on the right, at the very top, we got the microphone with the slash through it. If you click on that and you start talking through that, you will have to select which camera. So right now it's got the box around the living room camera. And it's telling you the percentage that the phone is at. That's what is selected. If I select the other one, now you see at the very bottom left corner, it says back of house. So if I select the top again, it's got a box around living room. So you would hit the microphone. You would start talking. You're not going to hear anything back. I did that. I made a mistake by talking through that. And my husband had to call me on the phone and be like, babe, I'm talking to you and I can hear you. But you have to select the icon, the second icon down on the right to be able to hear the person talk to you back. So the third icon on the right from the top down is the record feature. So see, now we got recording going. So if I seen somebody standing outside and I wanted to record, basically I would hit record there and it will rack up your recording. So then the audio cuts off here, and I've voiced over this 3 times. So I mess around here for a little bit, and I end up recording for both the top and the bottom because I had no clue what I was doing. I thought the screen recording stopped because it made weird noises. The screen recording didn't stop, the audio stopped. So I kept talking, hoping that it would continue to go, and it didn't. So I tried voicing over the other screen recording, and I was talking when I was talking in the beginning because I thought that it was completely gone because it was quiet. So here we are. So when you hit record, basically, it saves them. Here I am thinking I'm still not screen recording. It saves them to a part that we'll get to later, and I'll tell you where it's at. Once you record, if you need to record because someone's on the porch or someone's acting weird or someone's trying to break in or you need to record something in your house, you would select what part you want to record and you would hit record. And before you select off of it, you would stop recording by selecting it again before you hit the other camera, because then you'll record that camera too. So you want to make sure if you hit record on one, before you hit record again to turn it off, you make sure you're on the camera that you started recording on, or you'll record from other cameras. The fourth logo down is a screenshot. So if someone's standing outside or something's going on, if you hit that, it takes a picture, and that will also be shown where that would be later. So it would take a picture of whatever camera I think you're selecting. I don't know if it takes a picture of your whole screen. I think it's just the camera that you're selected on. The other one with the 2 arrows that looks like a camera, that is to turn to the selfie camera. So I imagine if you had your phone in the house, you would hit that, and if you had the living room in the front and the kitchen in the back, you could see both directions. The little circle with the 3 dots and the arrow, it is a icon that you select whatever camera, and you can swivel the camera footage whatever way you want. Like some older tablets or some older phones just won't swivel when you're like putting the camera in a certain like angle. So that helps you. If you select the camera, you can turn it. Now the lightning bolt icon, that is for the flashlight. So you can turn whatever flashlight on that you want. So like if you click on the top or you click on the bottom, whichever camera footage, you can go ahead and turn the flashlight on, and it actually makes it look like you're taking a picture if you do it just right. So I turn the flashlight on the bottom, but there's a glare because it's a window, and then it just goes back to normal. Sometimes if the footage isn't correct, I will go ahead and put the flashlight on for a second, and then I'll get off of it, and I'll shut it off, and it will focus a lot better than it was, and that will sometimes help. Like I said, both of mine are in the window though, so they glare, but it would alarm somebody if they seen it. The very bottom icon, the moon, is the night vision. I mostly only use it on the back of the house because when that light is off at night, it is pitch black, and the only thing you can see is the little light flashing on my dash for the security in my car. So I will turn it on, and it brightens things up back there. I think I need to switch the cameras, though, because my S8 Active has a way better camera than the S7, and I think the S7 Active would do a lot better up front, where the sun comes in during the day and my porch light is on at night, and the S8 Active would do better in the back because it has a way better camera. But I sometimes use the night vision on the front porch, just not often. Just mostly on the back, especially when they shut that light off back there. See, you can't even see my second vehicle until I turn it on, and then you could see where my vehicle is. So it's pretty perfect. You could see people coming up from either side. Now here's the menu. This is where your cameras are. This is where you can add a camera. You can do it from the computer, but it's weird. Now the boxes, you can check or uncheck the boxes. So like I just unchecked the living room. Now I only see the back of the house. Then you hit the drop down, select living room again, and boom. And that's how you can refresh them too if it disconnects. Saved clips, here's photos and videos that you've taken from your phone. This is where it saves them on iPhone, because iPhones aren't like Androids. So it would save it to the app, not the phone itself. So this is where you would get them, and then you could share them to your email or share them to text message. You could share them pretty much whatever options it gives you. Now the cloud, this is recorded footage from the motion detector of the cameras. So back of house doesn't get a lot of action because it's, you know, it's not very active back there. Front of house does, like there's a car on the second one down on the right. There's a headlight. So anytime something makes a movement, it will kick on and record for so many seconds. Under settings, this is where the camera resolution is. I have 1080p on my phone. For some reason, it will only do 720p on my computer. Auto disconnect time, I messed with that. I think it was preset at 5 minutes. I put it at 60 minutes because I was like, okay, well, let's not disconnect for an hour. Like, let's, you know, refresh, or I don't even know what the heck it's for. So I just put it back at 2 minutes because the cameras weren't connecting. Video in notification, biometric authorization, and turn. I have no clue what the heck all that crap is. I don't know what that is at all. I haven't even messed with it because things are going pretty good where they're at the moment. Under cams, which I'll click there in a minute because like I said, I've had to voice this over 3 times now. Under cams, this is where you name the cameras. You hit motion detector for whichever one, and then you set your time for each one. So I turn them on at 6 p.m. at night. You can turn it off completely. And then I have it shut off at 11 a.m. because it starts getting dark at 6 and I'm up about 11. There's your sensitivity bar like it was on the computer. And your ignored zones I'll get into that in a second. And new features will be there soon. So I hope that they do add more stuff because I'm really liking this app. It's pretty simple and it's pretty good compared to the other ones, even though they're more fancy. So under setup, though, when I finally get there, voiceovers are fun. I always was like, I wonder how hard they are, and now I'm doing one, and this is the 3rd time. So here under the setup for the top camera, which is what was selected, you'd hit the little plus sign over there, and it will bring a box up on the screen. You could stretch the box out each way to put the area where you don't want motion to be detected and start recording. So like over here, I have a flag. It's a don't tread on me flag that it waves in the wind, and I'm constantly getting recordings from it because it had a shadow. So it catches pretty good, catches pretty good movement. It's really nice how good the movement is that it catches because it barely, see, it's moving right now and it will catch that and record. So I just kind of blocked that little area out. I didn't want to block too much because I still wanted to catch other motion. You can also do multiple boxes. And then if you don't want them, you just hit the X and it would get rid of whatever box you didn't want. So I just fixed the little shadow area where my flag waves all the time. So if you go back to the main menu part. Here's under the About Me. This is my camera ID. I have no clue what any of this stuff is. I mean, it's created by, and it tells you what helped build it and stuff. So come here. I think this is where I go and I go into the app, I think, because there's nothing really left to show on the app. It does pretty good on the phone compared to the computer, though. I do prefer it on the phone. It's just watching it on the computer is better. So if you have a big monitor that you can have in your living room, it would be nice to connect your computer up to have it as a monitor screen, to be able to actually see what is going on. So, like, I always try to keep the night mode on the bottom, just because I know that light's going to shut out. But in the App Store now, if you actually go in the App Store, you type in Camy, and it's the live video monitoring one. Here's what it looks like in the App Store. It's got 4.7 stars, and it looks like 2 weeks ago they had critical bug fixes. So I'm hoping that was the disconnecting of the camera. But here's all the options that it has. Flashlight, zoom, which I try to zoom later and it doesn't work. So I don't know what zooms exactly. For this part, I brought up the more about it so you can pause the video and read it if you want. So go ahead and pause now. And then if you want to read the rest, go ahead and pause, because I scroll down so you can actually read it if you don't want to bring it up in your App Store. So I was reading some of the reviews, and they actually had decent reviews on it. Compatibility, at least for iPhone, because this is the iPhone App Store. It's 10.0 iOS or later. So I know for Android, it's compatible with my S7 and S8 at least. I don't know about the other ones. Now, down below, here's the Presence one that I did try, and it's pretty fancy, just like Alfred. But these are the other two apps, and here in Presence, it's got live monitoring with cell phones as well. They also offer their own cameras and stuff as well. It alerts you if someone is actually moving in the camera. There's other things you can hook up, like thermostats and locks, I believe, and like humidity sensors and stuff. It's got smart plugs, and it's got rules, which is pretty cool. You set rules, like at this time this happens, or at this time this happens. Like, you can set up what you want it to do. Here's what Alfred looks like. This is what it looks like even on the computer, for different cameras. But when you would go to click into it, to look at the cameras, they wouldn't refresh. And here's what Camy also kind of looks like when you're choosing which phone is the viewer and which one is the camera. They send alerts as well that pop up on your phone and let you know what's going on. Hey. They also, it has night mode, but it's not as good as Camy, in my opinion. Neither one is as good as Camy. There's trusted people that you can add in that can actually jump in on your footage and that you can share your stuff to. Alfred just has a lot of ads, and their computer part where you can jump on doesn't look very good either. But here's what their options are that they're listing. Hopefully they'll come up with more stuff soon, because this app is one that I prefer. It's just so simple, and it's just so, it's so much better than the other ones, just in my opinion, from trying to use them and then use this one. It's so different. I used the one in my bedroom, and I really liked it because I could switch either side. It's just you don't have flash on the other side. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Once again, it refreshes pretty quick, unlike the other ones. And you got footage up again, which is nice. So, like I said, I had to voice over the other video